Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to learn how we can make our custom hatch patterns inside of Revit. So to make this very simple, I'll also show you how we can install pyRevit, which we are going to use to make these custom hatch patterns, and it's very simple. So I'll just mention the link of this website in my video description, and we can just click in this installer when we open the website. Then we can just, I guess I'll save it on the desktop. Then I'll just open it and let it run. I would recommend closing Revit before running it. So I'll just close my Revit. Then I'll just click on these next buttons. I'll let it install anywhere. Yes, it's fine. You can just click all the buttons and don't need to worry about changing anything here. Click yes. So the reason we're installing pyRevit because it has a specific feature where we can use the lines that we draw inside of Revit as the hatch patterns that we need, and we don't need to convert them into some other version or some other uh, .pat file. So it's pretty simple, and it comes out as a fill region, or it can even come out as something that you can put on the materials as well. So I think it is done. I'll just open my Revit again. Yeah, so after you do this, you will get this option. You can click always load or you can click do not load, but I would recommend click always load because then it won't load. So yeah, now I have pyRevit right here. But how do we really start? Well, you can go to the pyRevit and you can have a look at this make pattern. I won't read everything that it says, but the trick right here is, let's say that I am drawing a wall. I'll just draw a simple wall like this. So I drew this wall and now I want to make a hatch pattern that is going to fit on that wall side that I just showed you. So what we can first do is make a simple box. I'll use hidden lines. I just use DL for detail lines and I use hidden lines. Make a box right here. And let's say it's going to be 1000 by 1000. Then I'll just use DL again, detail lines. First, I guess I'll just make a reference grid right here. I won't be using these lines for the pattern. Then I'll use DL again, and yeah, I'll just use this circumcised polygon. Let's say create it 120. Yeah, that's fine. Now, what I will do is I'll just uh, copy this at, let's say 400 right here, then mirror it from this axis, then mirror it from this axis. And I'll just delete these lines that I don't need. So let's say that this is my hash pattern. Now I'll just go to pyRevit and then I'll select the lines that I have just drawn, except for the lines that are on the box, these hidden lines that I have just drawn. Except for these, I'll just select the inner lines. Then I'll just go back to the pyRevit and click on make pattern. Now that I have opened this tab, I can put the name of this pattern. I'll just name it as P2. So yeah, now we can see we have two options right here, detail pattern or model pattern. So the difference between detail and model pattern is that the detail patterns are scalable. So if I were to use these patterns in the 2D details or 2D drawings, and I were to change the scale of that drawing, the pattern would also change the scale. But the model patterns always remain the same. And these model patterns are visible in 3D, while these are not. So for this exercise, I'll just use the model pattern and I won't change anything right here. I'll just click on create pattern. Now it will give me an option to pick origin point, bottom left, which will be the first point, then bottom right, top right, which will be the second point. Now we can see the pattern P2 has been created. So now I can delete these lines and I can just go to, let's say, annotate tab and a filled region. And let's say that where is, okay, I'll just make a new filled region which is going to be named as P2, and the pattern that I made, which is going to be available in the model section. And yeah, there it is, P2. And I'll just click apply, click OK. And let's make this fill region about this big. Now I can see that my pattern has been created and it is a bit weird, but I guess this was the pattern that I chose to display. Well, there are some things that you can edit. There are some things like, let's say if it's a filled region, I can al always make this pattern in a different color, or I can also provide a different background color for this filled region, which is, I guess, let's make it gray. Oh, that turned for, oh yeah. I just need to go to, yeah, I changed the color, but I didn't put the background fill pattern, which is going to be a solid fill. So let's say that I have this pattern now, and I want to apply this on the wall. I'll just go to 3D, and I'll select edit type, edit, and let's say that I want to change this material itself. So I'll just create a new material, or what I can do is I can just put my hatch pattern over the material itself. So this is the pattern that I made. I click apply, click OK, click OK, click apply, click OK. So as you can see, now I have just made a hatch pattern which is visible on my 3D, and it looks pretty good. But yeah, you can experiment with many different things. I think pyRevit has a lot of different features that we can go one by one with, but to make hatch patterns, you don't need anything else. You can just follow these methods and create any pattern that you want. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.